Hi, this is Chuck Frank, and this is a G drop on 9/11, September 11th, 2024. Wow, what a momentous anniversary. Just such a terrible day. Totally changed our country, totally changed the landscape of New York, affected thousands and thousands of families in that city. And I have many dear friends who have died from 9/11 cancer after that, who were working the pile with first responders. Wonderful, wonderful people who made so many sacrifices and then had this terrible death to look forward to. Anyway, what bothers me about all that is that we really don't know what transpired on September 11th. And we've been told a narrative like many narratives we've been given, and they don't make sense. And they shouldn't make sense because they're not true. And we're going to get to the bottom of all these, and many of them are unraveling before us. And that is going to be a part of the new era in the United States. So this G-drop is not about 9/11. It's really about the eve of 9/11 and the awful debate spectacle that we saw last night. So I fired up my computer and got to the beginnings of the debate, and I watched each one of the candidates walk out, and I watched Kamala boldly cross the stage and stick her hand out to shake Trump's hand. And, it was very, very smarmy and overconfident, and I'm a woman in charge, and really not necessary, and really false bravado. And I look over at Trump, and he looks like a guy with a burr under his saddle. He just has this look of consternation. And why wouldn't he? He likes to play to a crowd. There's no people in the room by design. He likes to banter back and forth. He's prevented from being able to do that. And over on the other side, Kamala's confident demeanor. Why wouldn't she have a confident demeanor? She's had the questions for weeks. She's been rehearsed by professionals, and each one of her little speechlets is fed to her with a soft question from the moderators who are totally in the bag for her. And they ask the question, and she does this kind of automaton speechlet full of little flowery metaphors about what she'll do when she's president, all targeted for the Chardonnay college graduate white ladies, the Swiftie group. So why should that bother me? Why can't I just watch it and let it go? And this G-drop is because this morning was the 11th, and I read the 11th chapter of Proverbs on the 11th. And the very first verse says, "Dishonest scales are an abomination to the Lord, but a just weight is his delight." I was sitting here looking at those monitors, thinking about ABC, thinking about Disney, thinking about how they destroyed such a wonderful company. But just the whole setup of the debate, of what a debate should be. There should be people to speak in front of. There should be the give and take of ideas back and forth and let the best ideas win. And there was none of that. It was just an absolute cheat. And so why does God make such a big deal about dishonest scales? Why is that an abomination to him? It's an abomination to him because at the most fundamental level, when you are handing your shekels to the guy who's selling you grain or bread or whatever, and you can't trust the scales, then that lack of trust starts to tear at the fabric of society. And the fabric of our society has been shredded in the last 3.5 years. It's in tatters. And what's the response from ABC? To come up with more cheating, more ways to try to defy the whole concept of what a debate should be. So that's the first verse of Proverbs 11. Then I'm looking at Kamala, and I'm reading the 22nd verse of Proverbs 11. It says, "As a ring of gold in a swine's snout, so is a lovely woman who lacks discretion." And you can't look at that stage and think that's not a lovely woman, that she doesn't handle herself okay. That's fine. That she's been through law school. She's been an attorney general. But she lacks discretion. She lacks intellectual discretion. She is wanting to ascend to the highest position of a constitutional republic as a Marxist authoritarian. In fact, as a communist. And her VP pick is even more of a communist. And so when Proverbs says that so is a lovely woman who lacks discretion, it means she doesn't have sound judgment. And she definitely does not have moral uprightness. And how could she? How could the two of them, her VP pick and her, how could they look to the CCP and think that's something to aspire to? The oppression of billions of people and organ harvesting and constant lying and cheating about everything. How is that something to aspire to on the human landscape? It's not. So there's ABC shows themselves terribly, and that's what the Bible says is the ultimate reward for dishonest scales. And Kamala, again, just one lie after another, unbridled. And then there's Trump. And this is the verse that came to me regarding Trump. Matthew 4. Satan tempts Jesus. Then Jesus was led up by the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted by the devil. And when he had fasted 40 days and 40 nights, afterward he was hungry. Now when the tempter came to him, he said, "If you are the Son of God, command that these stones become bread." But he answered and said, "It is written, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds from the mouth of God." Then the devil took him up into the holy city, set him on the pinnacle of the temple, and said to him, "If you are the Son of God, throw yourself down, for it is written, he shall give his angels charge over you, and in their hands they shall bear you up, lest you dash your foot against a stone." Jesus said to him, "It is written again, you shall not tempt the Lord your God." Again, the devil took him up on an exceedingly high mountain and showed him all the kingdoms of the world and their glory. And he said to him, "All these things I will give you if you will fall down and worship me." Then Jesus said to him, "Away with you, Satan. For it is written, you shall worship the Lord your God, and him only shall you serve." Then the devil left him, And behold, angels came and ministered to Jesus. Now, what does that have to do with Donald Trump? It has to do with the fact that he should never have been on that stage last night. And it brings into question the judgment of the people around him who are giving him advice. There is no Republican candidate who should be on a legacy media stage for a debate. It is just asking to get nailed. It's never going to be a fair debate. But I think Donald Trump has been so fast on his feet, and he speaks extemporaneously in interviews, sometimes for hours. And it's fostered an overconfidence. And overconfidence is not becoming in Kamala's corner, and it's not becoming in Donald Trump's corner. Nobody's got this. And especially the people of the United States haven't got this. God's got this. And he's going to show you what he's going to do with it. And he's going to do it in such a way that you will know that it's him. That's how he operates. So everybody who's overconfident here, whether it's ABC or Kamala or Donald Trump, somebody in that group better get some wisdom, and they better get some understanding, and they better humble themselves before God, or he will humble this country.